on?
Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
You people are like racehorses to me. God damn. Well, that sets your stall out, if nothing else will.
It does.
See what I did there? Stall horses.
Hey! You made a bloody funny joke, everybody.
I really did.
Danny, what a stinker, making funny jokes.
Really humorous person I am.
Yep. Funniest person I know.
Yeah. No argument. No. Yeah. So before we talk about what we're going to talk about, we have some bullshit to talk about.
We do.
Which is not actually bullshit. It's actually rather serious. But I shall spin the wheel.
I always forget I can't hear the buzzing.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen. And I'm going, oh shit.
It's just finished there. The aftermath of the tragic David Amos killing. So for those that don't know, a Conservative MP named David Amos was killed very recently when he was meeting with constituents, and it's just, first of all, to say it's dreadful that happened. There's no getting around that, and a lot of people are feeling very upset about it, and rightly so. It's a disgusting,
precisely.
Yeah, it's a disgusting thing to happen to anyone, whether you're an MP or not.
It's one of those things that you sling a lot of shit about politicians, but the entire point is that you do that because it's a free society.
Yeah.
You can say these things about people because you know you are safe at the end of the day. So
yes,
for something like this to happen is utterly horrendous.
Absolutely. While it is absolutely tragic, I do want to talk about the sort of the weird reaction from other people in our government about how, because
I'm not very aware of the reaction. I'm only aware of this as a tragic news story, so we'll get some weird live reactions through my camera, which will be equal parts chilling and terrifying, I imagine.
Yeah. So there's recently, you know Dominic Raab, I'm sure.
I think I know Dominic Raab. Let me quickly Google him to make sure I do.
Yep.
Someone says Dominic Raab, and I'm Dominic Cummings. Oh no, yep. Yes, I do know Dominic Raab. He's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. So in response, spitting image helps. Yeah. In response to this, Dominic Raab has talked about overhauling the Human Rights Act in terms of like criticism that can be levied against the government and reducing the influence of the European Court on what police and military services.
Well, what good's that going to do?
Well,
what?
Well, he says that the way that our sort of services operate shouldn't be dictated to us by the European Union, and right. So he wants to overhaul it so that the EU will have less influence on how.
So is this a Brexit thing, or is this something related to?
Well, it's a sort of conglomeration of stuff, because it's not just him. Priti Patel has talked about introducing a law that would strip anonymity of people online.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, which I have my own problems with, but. The problem with this is that Dominic Raab is acting as if the Human Rights Act is some weird, nefarious European legislation, when it's a British law that was developed in Britain and doesn't just ensure the rights of British people, it ensures the human rights of many different people, whether they come from Britain or not. And it's just very strange. There have been experts that say that it's deeply troubling, and I have to agree. It seems like a sort of weird, sly power grab. Fascism is trending on Twitter because of this. A lot of people are saying that that's what it tends to be, a sort of shift to authoritarianism because of, a horrible thing that's happened, and it is a horrible thing, but that is like it's bread and butter to the Reichstag fire, exactly. It's bread and butter to people who are authoritarian and want more control of our services for nefarious purposes.
I do know what you mean. I think I'm slowly starting to get the picture of what you're saying. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is more of a question than a statement. So is the idea that the killing of this Conservative MP is being used as an excuse to say, look what's happening because of these laws that I don't like, even if the laws are not necessarily the cause, and thereby these laws can be rewritten or binned off or whatever? Is that the idea?
Yes, absolutely. It's it's a sort of use of a very big crisis to try and increase the state's sort of power in order to, essentially. Well, it says here, Dominic Raab said today that an overhaul of the UK's Human Rights Act would include a mechanism to correct rulings by the European Court of Human Rights.
What?
If it didn't sort of go into what the government said or in the way that they acted. So if you're going to
argue morality with the Court of Human Rights, then
yeah.
I feel like maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you've lost the plot at some point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're at a point where you think, no, I am the moral arbiter of essentially anybody in the world, that the the European Court of Human Rights, and anything that they decide to convict, I am the arbiter of that. I can just decide, actually, no, that's a perfectly fine thing to do. Come to England and that'll be fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's deeply disturbing, because the entire point of like a moral judgment is that it's based on, as Dougie's just pointed out, Britain, but the entire point of a moral judgment is that it's based on two things. One being the amount of suffering that somebody might be going through, and the other being sort of a consensus.
Yes.
It needs to be the majority decision, because otherwise it's immoral for one person to make the moral decisions for everybody in the world.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he's proposing some kind of British high moral authority or something, but would he be the guy in the chair for that? Or would he get some kind of a long-standing British judge? I don't know, but either way, I don't like the sound of it, because what you're essentially saying is, I want to create a new sort of ministry of moral standards.
Yes.
And with my ministry of moral standards, I want to start governing what everybody does, which is terrifying and horrendous. I think, literally, that's... Sorry, it's just popped into my head, because I did an A-level in Spanish, and so we did about the Franco dictatorship in Spain. I think they did actually have a department of moral standards and authority that made PR about a woman should do this and this so that when her husband gets home, and we had to translate these leaflets and stuff, and it was really horrible stuff. So how far away are we from Dominic Raab becoming moral arbiter of Britain and saying, oh, and by the way, you must buy all of your paint at B&Q because I own stocks there?
Yeah, I mean...
Do you know what I mean?
Even
something much more horrific.
Most fascist regimes do have... that is the whole point of fascism. It's dictatorial morality at every level of society. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we're at fascism, not by any manner of means, but we're at a creeping sort of... We'll take that away, and we'll take that away, and it's bit by bit, rather than, brown shirts walking down the street, shouting anti-Semitic things and, trying to overthrow the government. It's more of a sort of corroding of institutions that's gonna lead to fascism again. He said that he wants Britain's Supreme Court to be the ultimate ruler of what military and police services are allowed to do and what human rights are.
Well, that's just utterly flawed. Does he mean every police and every military, or does he just mean the British police and military?
He means the British police and the British military.
I mean, in that case, it makes slightly more sense, but it's still terrible because.
Sorry, we tried having a sort of every country having its own national ethos about what you're allowed to do to human beings, and it led to conflicts like the First World War, like the Second World War.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
I don't think it's a bad idea that the international community has a set standard for how you should treat human beings, and that everyone is sort of kept to the same page, rather than, well, it's my country and we can do whatever we want. It's that, if those things are bad, then no, you can't. And if you're not going to do bad things, why do you want a unique ability to sort of change what is a human right in your own country and disregard what everyone in the international community says? It's really creepy.
Petrifying. Yeah.
Very much so. The thing with Priti Patel as well, what do you think about anonymity being stripped for people online?
Sorry, I was taking a hasty sip of water. I'm obviously against it, I think. I think that... Well, I say I'm obviously against it. Obviously, it's a complex and multifaceted issue, but...
Yeah.
I can see the positives, I can see the negatives. I suppose I haven't really made up my mind yet.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. I came out of the gate with such a strong opinion, and now I'm saying, well, I don't really know. What do you think about it?
I mean, I do think that huge tech corporations do require regulation in terms of what's allowed to be posted and what isn't. Or at least there should be a sort of set standard like in society, rather than just falling back on, well, I'm a corporation and I can put whatever I want in my platform. But because there comes a point where a corporation becomes a necessity. Like, it's big enough that there are no other options, if you get me. Like,
I'm not sure I do.
Well, it's monopolies. Like, if the market that we live in is filled with different people with different sort of things, then you could maybe say, well, that's your business and you can run it in any way that you want as long as it doesn't break the law. But if the very few options are all owned by the same sort of people, do you really have a free choice in what social media platform you want to go on? Facebook and Instagram are jointly owned, you know, so it's like, that's a huge monopoly of social media right there. And Google owns what? YouTube? What else do they own? Like,
everything ever.
Yeah, well,
Google owns so much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you get my point. It's like you can't really say now, oh well, we're a corporation and have the immense influence that you do, and not expect to be treated as maybe not a public institution, but certainly a public service. You know.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it sort of comes down to like. In the street, somebody can't come up to me and start screaming abuse at me because that's illegal. I would go to a police officer and say, this person has been following me for 8 hours and screaming abuse at me. Can you please arrest them or something?
Yeah.
But then...
But you can block people online.
You can block people online, yeah. And I think that's certainly something I would never want to get rid of. I just don't... Because I can't see... Right. Let's break this down. Let's pretend I'm some moron you've dragged off the street, which is frighteningly accurate to what I actually am. Can you explain to me what Priti Patel is doing and why she wants to do it? Because I don't think I understand that well enough to have an opinion.
Okay, so the reason that she wants to strip anonymity for people online is because of the increasing abuse that MPs get through trolls and stuff, and she sees a correlation with what happened to David Amos in regards to people sending shit like, oh, Priti Patel, you're an arsehole, sort of thing. Which...
But then, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you wouldn't hit someone with a shovel and then call it gardening. That's not...
No, exactly. It's like, it's people online criticising public figures. You could maybe make an argument that could somehow relate to real life. But the idea that some idiot online calling Priti Patel an arsehole is the same as someone going up to an MP and killing them is not in any way comparable. Like,
those two things aren't,
It's... reactionaries always do this when there's like a crisis. It's like, well, we need more control over things that do we even know that the guy was a troll? Do we even is it even true that the guy was showing a behaviour of hating David Amos? It's like it's so complicated, and even if it is, why would you then say, well, tighter restrictions and all anonymity needs to be stripped from everyone so that it doesn't happen? It's like, it's not a very surefire way of making it not happen again, because people are just going to be like, well, why are you
Yeah.
punishing me for something that some arsehole has done, you know?
Yeah, no, I think, it's sort of like when you were at school and there's two kids that won't shut up, and then that means all of you have to stay in at break time. It's, I mean, it's more horrific than that, but it's the same theme.
Yeah, definitely,
yeah. No, I think we've sort of, I think I sort of slightly understand better now, and because the reason that David Amos was killed, it wasn't that somebody was tweeting a load of things at him and then one day they decided they'd had enough and tried to kill him. I don't think that was the reason. The reason was because they wanted to kill him, so they got a knife and killed him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not... Twitter doesn't factor into that, surely. Unless I'm massively misunderstanding the mind of somebody that would go out and stab someone. Unless I'm massively misunderstanding, surely social media doesn't play a part in that. I just don't get it. I don't...
Yeah.
There's no connection there. If she'd have said we should tighten laws on knives that might be considered weapons, then I can understand that. That's something I could understand going out of this. Or if she'd have said we should tighten security around MPs meeting with constituents and have people have to do background checks before they can meet an MP or whatever, or go through metal detectors, I can understand that. Those are things that would actually have prevented what's happened. But what she's suggesting and what Dominic Raab is suggesting, neither of those would prevent what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
They're just random laws that people want to go for.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Priti Patel, is she the Home Secretary or the Defence Secretary?
She is the Home Secretary, I believe.
So having much less anonymity online would be a brilliant thing for her. Because then if somebody tweets
obviously
something sort of saying, I really hate Boris Johnson or whatever, she can kick their door down and say, they're going to definitely murder the Prime Minister. Let's go and get them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's just fucked.
I mean, this government has been, more so recently, has been showing very, very clear signs that they want more authority when it comes to what we do and what we say. Increased police powers in the wake of the Sarah Everard case, which is...
absurd.
I can't even get into that. Repealing the Human Rights Act, okay? It can't be overstated how dangerous that is, because it's an act that protects everyone. Absolutely everyone. And this weird faux nationalism of Dominic Raab saying, well, the British and the British military and police shouldn't have to be dictated to by Europe. It's like Europe
because
isn't
the
one
implication
entity.
is that British people can inherently make better decisions.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
which is British supremacy.
I mean,
it's just horrific in itself.
I mean, it's the conservative sort of mindset, isn't it? It's the priority of the individual over millions of people, multi-millions of people that should have the same rights, and no one should be treated differently or given special treatment for us. And it also leaves us open to authoritarianism. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but I can feel it. I can feel this theft, this weird, horrible, sticky sort of thievery of what protects us all. That's the feeling that I'm getting, because what other reason would you have for repealing a Human Rights Act? Like, really? Why is it so troubling to them? I don't know.
Exactly. I think people are too comfortable. Maybe people should be less comfortable.
Yeah.
Can we arrange for that to happen, please?
People have too many rights, you know. How? Oh god.
These bloody people, they deserve a working week that's less than 100 hours. No.
Yeah.
You can get them back in the what's it called? Victorian times, when you go to a workhouse. Get them back in a workhouse.
Yeah. Poorhouse. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, that was certainly stressful and annoying and angrifying.
Yes, certainly was. Shall we talk about something a bit more cheerful?
We certainly will, and I'm going to take a cheeky sip of water to calm myself down.
Well, I'll spin
the wheel. This water's just a bottle full of hot sauce.
Oh. I'll spin the wheel while you're doing that. The Doctor Who trailer is out.
Ooh, it is. It is
Yes.
out. Right. I've got it open on my YouTube. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds long.
Yeah.
And the last sort of however long is from a minute onwards.
Yep.
It's the post-credit stuff. Okay, so we've got loads of stuff in the trailer. I'm still being filmed apparently. We've got Jodie Whittaker being like, "Oh bloody hell, my sonic screwdriver's loud."
Yeah.
Then we've got this is Yaz, this is Dan.
Yeah.
Yaz and Dan doing stuff. We've got Sontaran ships being built in shipyards.
Yeah, that's
which
cool.
is the interesting thing to me in this entire trailer, and I'm sure we'll get back to it. Beyond that, we've got basically little bits of footage from the rest of the series.
Sontaran on a horse, an oud.
We've got not Chewbacca. We've got this guy that I think was in Downton Abbey.
He was.
Loads and loads of stuff. Sontaran on a horse, that's very exciting.
It's coming.
What the fuck's going on there? That's brilliant.
Be ready.
Yep, I'm into it. It's all good. We've got bloke with a slightly weird face. Our final fight has begun, and his face is like a skull, but it's also crystals.
Weeping Angels are back.
What's his face? Is back again. What's his name? They had all the teeth in his face. Tim
Shaw.
Tim Shaw. Weeping Angels are back, did you say?
Yeah, they're in the trailer as well.
I fucking missed them. Where am I looking for Weeping Angels?
Oh,
wait, I found them.
There you go.
I've nailed it. Brilliant. They're back. There's a cross behind them, like a crucifix. So maybe it's in a like a graveyard or a cemetery or something.
Yeah.
That might be good. That might be interesting, because they would actually be camouflaged then, which would be nice.
They would.
We've got Jodie Whittaker running through a battlefield, what it appears to be, toward the TARDIS, with British Army soldiers with the red coats, as in Victorian Army soldiers.
Yep.
They've got all the absurd hats and all the rest of it. I like the little bit of footage of soldiers firing at one another with lasers, like Georgian soldiers firing at each other with guns, like laser guns. That's cool imagery. We've got the Cybermen, which now look a bit like Iron Man, if I'm going to be entirely honest.
A little bit.
Lots. I mean, it does the job of a trailer. It makes everything look cool.
I mean, instead of the 13 episode series, we have 6 episodes this season, which is very much akin to classic Doctor Who, which could be very interesting. And it's an actual arc. There's actually going to be carry on from each episode, which I'm all in favour for. I love me some arcs. And, we've got Cybermen, Angels, Sontarans. The Daleks will probably show up at some point, because, why not? And
I'm very excited to see these Sontaran ships doing bits and bobs.
Yes,
because I like the Sontarans.
So
Fundamentally, I like the Sontarans, because they're bloody ridiculous, and it's brilliant.
Yes.
I like the Sontarans, but I like these ships being built in shipyards. I like the idea that we're seeing, because it doesn't appear to be an alien planet. These appear to be cranes that you might see in the UK. Even you go to a shipyard in the UK and see them.
I hope it's an alien. I hope it's Sontar that they go to.
That would be very cool, wouldn't it?
I'm sick of being on Earth. And the Sontarans
in real life, or just
both.
Okay.
The Sontarans are very good. Could be a very good sort of story for political commentary as well. You could have like a sort of traditionalist group of Sontarans that want to continue the ways of war and stuff, and you've got a group that say no, it doesn't work, we need to move on. That could be interesting. It
could be interesting.
I like all that stuff.
I saw an interesting point raised on Twitter. These Sontaran ships have got sort of yellow paint on them, like little sort of triangles and diamonds and stuff, which somebody was indicating, could this be like a rebel faction of the Sontarans? Because obviously the Sontaran ships we've seen before didn't have this sort of yellow emblematic paint on them. So could it be, like I say, some sort of opposing faction, like the Dalek Civil War and Remembrance of the Daleks? Yeah, exactly. It could be that. Who knows? I'd really like to see a Sontaran Civil War. It's like, they're the ultimate civilization for warfare. They just do war all the time.
War against each other.
That's all they do, ever. That'd be really good. I'd really like to see that.
So would I.
Let me find me roast potato Dalek. Roast potato Sontaran. Where's he gone? I like his armour, because he looks a bit battered, doesn't he? He looks a bit sort of... Oh, no, don't.
How does their society work, then? I mean, I think it's a very strict sort of hierarchy that never ceases military control over the state. I doubt that there are many civilians in the Sontaran, because they're all clones.
No. Yeah, they are all
bred.
They're grown in...
They're probably all male and all militarised.
And I do like... Actually, no, yeah, they are clones. But yeah, I'm looking at this Sontaran now. He's around his belt. He's got like some interesting bits of technology, different pipes and tubes and cables and all the rest of it. Could he just be fucking old? Because like the armor is rusted and battered.
Yeah.
He could just be a very old Sontaran that's been stranded on Earth or something. But then the sky behind him is red.
Yes.
So it could be Sontar. It could be some kind of high general emperor type figure.
He could be.
I enjoy this. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's interesting. I like it. It could be. But in saying that, could be utter shit, and could be a complete waste of everyone's time. But who knows?
What do we think about the Ood having eyes that are a bit different from the regular Oods? He's got whites in his eyes as opposed to just sort of blackness.
I mean, the Ood have always been a good sort of bait for story. That was tapped into one episode. With that where they're all sort of freed at the end of the day, which I like. But I think the eyes are just a bit more clear. It's probably just like moving on and stuff like that, and a sort of, you can't like really redesign the Ood, if you get me.
No, that's true.
Like without, because the Ood are just creepy looking things by themselves. So I mean, maybe the eyes are a bit clearer just to make it a bit more sort of up to date, or maybe it is a plot point, but to what that would be, I have no idea.
Me neither. Dougie just made a good point. They keep doing it in Star Trek Discovery. The Ferengis look different. I think the Klingons look different in Star Trek Discovery. I think they argued it was something about. I think in the show they explained it away by saying, oh well, when they're at war they all shave their heads and shave their beards, and then when they're at peace they grow their hair out. Worf is constantly at war. That's the entire point of Klingons, surely. But you know, I'm just looking through the trailer. I'm going like frame by frame here. This is brilliant. There's this bit where the 13th Worf is sponsored by Nair, the hair removal cream. You'd have to explain that one to me, bud. But yeah, the Doctor is saying to Yaz and Dan, run for your life, and they're on a ship, and I'm looking behind them. It appears to be like sort of ceremonial displays of weapons and armour. There's like, what's it called? Like halberds and shields, and I can't really see it very well, but these could be sort of pauldrons or gauntlets or maces or something like that. So that would be really interesting to see, like, Sontarans of old, if there's like a faction on the Sontar homeworld that isn't as technologically advanced. Yeah. And like, no, by using technology, they're taking the honour out of combat because they can just drone strike them from orbit instead of, getting down in the ditches and fighting with a sword. And so maybe there's something about that, which I would find that really interesting to see. I would find the sort of warrior cult mentality, that'd be really good.
That could be really interesting. The last sort of good Sontaran episode was when was the last Sontaran story? Was it season 4?
It was, Donna and all the rest of it. They were briefly in the Pandorica stuff, weren't they? Yeah, for two or three frames. But
But there hasn't been a proper sort of Sontaran story. I'd like to see how they were cloned, like whose idea it was to clone these people.
That would be good.
Yeah, or maybe there's like a divergence of what the clones should be. Like maybe not so militarized. Maybe it's like, some cloners like, no, we need to make them nicer, and the other guys like, no, we don't.
Make them pretty quick. I would. Right, here's Dan. I'm coming at you with a red hot theory. So prepare your existence for this hot theory.
Okay.
I think Sontarans come to Earth and do stuff. Okay, that's point number 1 in the story of this new season of Doctor Who. Yep. Sontarans come to Earth and do stuff, and in the course of fighting back against them, the Doctor is like, bloody hell, we need to go to Sontar and deal with them and like get to the root of it, and then we'll get the magical MacGuffin that'll kill all the Sontarans. So then they go to Sontar, and they're like, oh, but we don't actually want to kill the entire planet because, there's a moral quandary of, they're all a warrior cult, but it's also genocide is bad. They'd have to sort of think about that, because there's this shot here where it's sort of you can't see my screen. It's a planet with sort of the vacuum of space behind it, and there's like sort of a fog coming over the planet.
Yeah.
The planet does not appear to be Earth. It appears to be very, very blue and white and sort of grey. There's no green. I can't see any forests or anything. The land masses don't look like continents I recognise.
Yes.
I might be completely wrong. Who fucking knows? But yeah, that's my theory, is that this is Sontar, and this is, I don't know, some kind of a space smoke that's going to do something to Sontar. So that'll be good.
That is an interesting theory, and it could be
But
wrong.
now that I look at it, it looks a bit
right.
more like a sort of swarm of very small... It looks like birds or something.
Well, bearing in mind, these are like 6 stories interwoven into one trailer, so it's like you'll get different bits from different, so it's hard to sort of realise what... The one with the Sontaran ships, I doubt are going to be the ones about the Weeping Angels. But
True.
They might, you never know. This could all be one episode, maybe.
That would be insane.
That would
literally insane.
Yeah, it probably...
A 2-hour-long, insane, ridiculous episode.
I think it would probably be overkill, but
almost certainly, yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
But yes, it looks to be one big story, 6 chapters, lots of cool stuff going on. I'm very excited. It should be good.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Almost certainly we will.
Yeah. Is that enough bullshit for you?
I think it is. I'm full.
Yeah, so am I.
Lots of spacesuit scenes to accommodate social distancing. Dougie's
right.
just said maybe.
Quite
That's what Call the Midwife did. They made it so that conveniently, whenever any 2 characters would have to touch each other, they would be in the birthing suite and therefore wearing surgical masks anyway. So it's just very convenient.
That's very nice. But anyway, we're here to talk about the phenomenon called Squid Game.
Yes, and do you know what, Danny? I'm fucking furious. There was not a single squid in this show.
No, there wasn't.
I am
fucking
pissed off.
Bastards.
This is false advertising. I'm furious. I wanted to see a squid.
It was created by and written by I'm going to butcher this name. Maybe you should get the
right. Okay.
I think it's Dong Hyuk Hwang. I believe. I could be pronouncing it wrong.
Squid Game. Where am I going for this? Who are you saying? Who are you talking about?
Created and
created by. Bizarrely, this is not at all here. I've got stars. No, that's not it. Well, I don't know who created it. Somebody did.
Okay. Right, we'll just go with that then. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. Yeah, I was right. Oh.
Hwang Dong-hyuk. Yeah.
I put it the wrong way. Hwang Dong. Yeah, okay. And it is starring Lee Jung-jae, Ho Young-jun, Gong Woo, Wee Han-jun, Chang Sang-woo, and Lee Yu-mi.
Indeed.
And other people, I'm sure. Do you have an opening statement?
Yes, I do. I've thought about this at great length.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready? I've got one.
I'm ready.
Oh no, the old man! Oh no, the old man! That was my exact reaction as I was watching Squid Game. I thought, oh god, the old man. He's been faking it. He's been faking his dementia. He knows that he's not going to make it to the end, and he's just trying to do something good. And then, oh no, turns out he was the big horrible bloke all along. Spoilers for Squid Game.
Yes, very much so. A terrifying TV show that has garnered massive popularity and is a huge critique of capitalism and all of the methods employed in that system. I worry that
almost as though capitalism's bad.
Maybe. Who knows? I worry that people won't take the warning and take it as a joke.
Okay. As in, this is what the lefties think society is like.
No, more so that I see it everywhere now on TikTok, and it seems to be more of like a ha 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 ha. And this YouTuber called Mr. Beast is like, yeah, I'm gonna recreate Squid Game with random TikTok followers and shit like that. It's like you're sort of missing the point of how horrible it was. Dougie's just put 3 dots in the chat, which sums it up perfectly.
Don't worry, guys. If you put in if you sign a document, it's fine for me to just kill you. That's fine. That's how the law works.
It's a contract.
Right?
It's a contract. You can't break it. But hot take. The people in Squid Game have more human rights than Dominic Raab is comfortable with us having.
Yeah, I think so.
Come at me, Tories.
Come at me. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any creepy room questions / statements?
I'm not entirely sure if I do have creepy room questions and statements. Everything about this show is just so fucking good. That's the terrifying thing about it. Literally, it's so... Right, you know when you watch like an old episode of The Simpsons or something, and all the jokes, they fly past so quickly you couldn't possibly hope to get them all. You'd have to be some kind of a master of pop culture. That's what it felt like watching this show. There are so many little... It's so dense with critiques of society and capitalism and sort of just the general world we live in. It's so dense that I felt like I wasn't quite catching them all as they flew past.
Yeah.
Even little tiny things like they only started stepping in to prevent sort of... I was going to say prisoner on prisoner. Well, I suppose they are prisoners. To prevent sort of... player-on-player violence when they realised it wasn't very helpful for them.
Yes.
And it's really fucking scary because it's exactly it's a microcosm of real life. It's the idea of like, well, what will you do?
Yes.
For £100, Danny, for £100, will you go and punch your mum in the face? Do you know what I mean? That's what the show is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, of course not. No, I completely agree with you.
Have you got any CRQs?
More of a statement, really. South Korea seems to have the best fucking political commentary ever.
Yes.
Yes,
it does.
We had Parasite, now we've got this. There's going to be more seasons of this. I mean, it's like I don't know how they just like get it so brilliantly more than any other Western sort of content could put out.
I adore with this show how it's all sort of bright colours.
Yeah.
This is going to sound like a very stupid thing to say, but it was something I never really liked about things like the Hunger Games and all those post-apocalyptic films that came out at the same time, is everything was very depressing colours. That's what the Hunger Games got right in the capital. Everything was these beautiful bright colours, and it was this nightmarish vision of excellence and of opulence and all the rest of it. But I like that even sort of in the trenches of inequality, everything is bright and designed to pacify you and calm you down, and it's just chilling. Everything about it is just chilling.
Do you want to hear a hot take about the Hunger Games?
Yes, spicy, take me.
Yeah. Maybe 20 years, that's what America's going to look like.
What, murdering kids on TV?
Yeah.
Really? Bloody hell, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.
20? You really? In 20 years?
20 years, okay. The celebrities in America already fucking look like that, okay? They all wear these really opulent, ridiculous clothes that... And celebrities
I know what you mean.
are congratulated. Like, Joaquin Phoenix was congratulated for only wearing one suit through the award season. Oh, what a fucking hero. And the president... The office of the presidency has already so much fucking power. It can issue executive orders like fucking Smints. You know, it's like so much power. It's like...
I'm sorry. That's really tickled me. The idea of Joe Biden on a pedestal. It's like... and he's like poking the nuts.
Making it rain. But yeah,
I'm signing bills into laws all day long, baby! Yeah. He's just there.
It just seems that Western liberal democracies are becoming so much more centralised in the power that they have, and it's really sort of worrying me. I mean, we sort of dodged Trump, right? Who, if anyone's wondering, who is undoubtedly a fascist. Okay, there is no getting around that. Okay, and you may be like, no, he's not. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just telling you. And because of him and the sort of trend that's happening within Europe, with countries like Austria and Poland, sort of, and even in France, like huge sort of swings of nationalism are rising. More centralisation is on the way, and more power is going to be given to offices like the presidency. And I am sure in 20 years' time it won't be that far off from Panem, as they call it. But that's not what we're talking about.
No. Instead, it'll be like Squid Game, I suppose.
Yeah, like you said about colours and stuff like that, the world outside looks more dreary than the horrible game that these people are made to play. It's very vibrant, very colourful, very sort of cosmetic, if that's the right word. It's very sort of it could be like a fun house or something like that, you know. It's like,
yeah,
and it parallels capitalism so well. It's like you play this very illicit game for the hope of riches, and very few people will ever get that. But because the prize is so alluring and it's so extravagant and amazing, everyone plays it. And they think that they can do it, but the system relies upon hundreds of people, well, in this game, but in real life, like millions of people to fail at the game, so that the top few can get the prize, and then the system can be perpetuated, either for more money for the people that already have money, or for the entertainment of people that have money. So it's
and there were even things that I was like, oh god, that's a bit on the nose. Like killing another player, it puts more money in the pot. It's like, god, that's a bit of an on the nose way to make the point you're trying to make. But no, it's true. Yeah. If I looked at other writers that do what I do, and I actively stopped them from writing, I would get more success because I'd be the only one left. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? It's terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. What is your favourite game out of the show?
To be honest, I would lean towards Red Light, Green Light.
Yeah.
Just because, which I don't know why, but
Mr. Wolf.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I always called it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always really, I enjoyed doing that at school. But I don't know. There's something very chilling about the twist from, oh, it's just a joke, and maybe someone will come out and slap me, and because I can't flip an envelope over, and then it's
shot immediately. My favourite is Honeycomb.
Okay.
Because it's so simple. Like you could just have these people in their sort of chambers doing that, but instead they bring them to a fucking playground where the rides and the slides and the swings are useless. It's just this.
It's just set dressing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so eerie that it's like, we're going to play a game and it's going to look like your childhood, except this time you're going to die if you don't fucking get it right.
Yeah. Because it's all mind games in a very strange way. Even with the little girl doll thing with the cameras in its eyes, that was mind games as well. They didn't have to do it. They could have just been a camera, just a big camera that span round.
Exactly.
They didn't have to make it. Yeah, that's a good point. It's all about the presentation and stuff. It's like, because the old man at the time is enjoying it. He's scooting his way up the Go on.
That's because he knows that he's immune.
Well, I suppose so.
They're not gonna kill him because he's one of the founders of the. That's why they didn't kill him when he lost the game of marbles.
True. But I think that's not my point. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's sort of made pretty and fun.
Yeah.
So that it's something that you'll actively want to do, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I really want to do that, and then you look back and people have died.
Yeah.
And it's chilling in the same in that way. It's really scary.
It's amazing how the justifications spring up from characters very, 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 very quickly. The two people that are left, the guy that dies, you see it very early on that he comes across very rational and very sort of, we'll all the way he manipulates Ali is one of the most horrible scenes that I've ever seen, and it's just definitely. It brought oh my god, I can't even overstate how uncomfortable it made me.
Yeah, because Ali is such a gem. He's there just trying to do right by his wife and child. He doesn't want to be there. You can tell he doesn't enjoy suffering. You can tell he doesn't enjoy the unhappiness of others.
Exactly.
And yet he's still there, being forced to do it. It's terrible.
And he won as well. Like, he was going to win, and just, yeah, well, if you do this, I'm sure we'll be able to play in the next game. What I don't understand is, why would anyone think that multiple people would get the prize money? Like, I assumed right from the get-go that it was going to be one person that wins.
Because it was something that got me, was because if I was there, I would say, well, how will the prize money be divided between the winners? Because that would be my first question: is, well, will it be equally divided? Yeah, will I have to kill everybody in the room to get it? Do you know what I mean? That's a scary thought, but a thought. Do you know what I mean? It's what you think in a funny way.
Who was your favourite character?
Oh, Ali, definitely.
Yeah.
It's such a sweet person. I really enjoyed just watching him interact with the others.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's such a genuine, kind person.
Mine was Ji Young, who was the girl that was sat by herself and sort of was befriended by the other girl who ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
Because they instead of like being incredibly desperate to survive and get the money, like, they just had a really nice conversation and were just like, well, we can just do one game that'll decide it, and whatever happens. And they got to know each other, and it was just really, it was really sweet and really heartbreaking at the end, whereas everyone else is like, no, we'll change the rules, change the game, oh god, do this, do that. And it was just, it was refreshing to see someone like, I've put myself in this situation, and there's no point in fucking over someone else in order to win.
Get it.
Yeah. It's like, humanity is more important than, money and wealth. But yeah.
It's all stressful.
It's a bit stressful.
It's strange as I was watching it, because it's good, and obviously I enjoyed it, but it was really hard going at the same time. It has the bleakness of, like, say, Black Mirror, but it's pretty.
Yes.
And that's the difference, is that Black Mirror is bleak in the aesthetic too. It's lots of dark things,
or
people
white.
wearing big jumpers and being sad.
Yeah.
But, like, Squid Game, it's white rooms, it's bright green jumpsuits, pink jumpsuits, like, and these bright primary colours and stuff. Dark sci-fi can be hard to get a big audience. You're completely right.
True.
It can. And I think this is... Well, it's barely even sci-fi, is it? It's just fi. Real life fi. Yeah. Dystopia, yeah.
And it's not even dystopia, because it's like...
You can see these things happening in real life.
Yeah, it's like people play games online where very powerful and influential people laugh at people who are less fortunate than them,
Yeah.
I mentioned this quote at the start. The front man compared the contestants to racehorses. So that's exactly how these people see everyone that takes part in the game. It's absolutely disgusting.
Completely disgusting. Yeah. It's the worst thing about it. Really, is that the rich people all get off scot-free.
Yeah.
That's the horror. Is that
that's
Gihan he goes home and he's just like, now I feel really shit. Because 455 other people died so I could get this money. I can't quite bring myself to spend any of it and to do anything of it. Yep. And no, the rich people, the people that orchestrated the entire thing, they get off scot-free. Doesn't matter at all. It's fine, don't worry about it.
Absolutely. I was expecting some, like, dreadful, elaborate trap in the last round, but what we got was, like, far more horrifying.
Yeah.
It was just two men playing a children's game and beating each other to death. Like, that is more horrifying than if it was like a sort of weird Saw trap or something like that. It's so, like, because childhood could be like that, like you would get into a fight with one of your pals and maybe like wrestle about a bit, but it's like a perversion of that. It's like
it's that made worse. It's about saying the evil that's happening here is what you're doing.
Yeah,
despite the fact that it's not.
Yeah,
the evil of the situation is that they're in that situation to begin with.
Exactly.
It's the fact that someone has put them there. Someone has artificially put them there and made them do this thing. They wouldn't be doing it normally. They probably wouldn't even talk to one another. Sang-woo at no point he doesn't want to talk to Gi-hun. He just wants to chill out and go home a bit. He doesn't really want to talk to him.
It's when you're young and when you play games like that, it almost feels like the be-all and end-all, if you get me. Like,
yes.
I remember when I was young, losing a game was like...
the worst.
Because you're a child, it's like a big sort of deal, so it's like sort of being reverted back to that primitive sort of way of thinking. Just winning is the most important thing.
Yeah, and being reverted back by an external force, essentially.
That thinks that it's better than you.
Yeah, and it's like it's sort of ripping your face off and saying, look at what is underneath. Look at what you have always been. This is what you were as a child. This is what you are now. Yeah. I'm not sure if I quite understood the sort of allegory of the surgeon that was harvesting organs for the black market. I'm not sure if I quite understood how that relates to life.
I had no idea what was going on there. I didn't,
because on the surface it would literally be, literally a real life version of that. Yeah. Essentially, it's like, oh well, this thing is going to happen, so make sure you get out of the way, and then in return, can you just give me a lot of money, please? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like the hypocrisy of the front man, who is like enraged by this, and it's like, you have given this man unfair advantages. How dare you? You have destroyed the sanctity of the games. You let the founder of the or one of the founders of the games play and affect the democratic process that allows the people to get in or out. He was the deciding vote.
Yeah, exactly.
That forced half of the people that didn't want to play the game. And also, he wasn't playing fair either, because he was saved regardless of how he won the game or didn't. You know, they were never going to kill that guy, and they have the nerve at the end to be like, I never forced anyone to play. It was all their choice. It was like, well, no, you interfered with the process, so it's not a fair fight. I really liked this thing at the end, like the final game, like after Gi-hung had won the money, and it was just about whether people had enough decency to help this homeless man. And you have someone who says, no, I do believe that people will help other people. And this other person who's completely devoid of just can't look beyond self-interest and self-preservation, that says, no, they won't, never. And is willing to bet his life on that. And it's like, that's what being in a system perpetuated by greed does to you. It's like,
yeah, completely.
You assume that everyone else is playing the game to be ruthless and to win, and eventually, if you play that game long enough, you'll end up becoming like that, or you'll end up dying in an attempt to stop the game. You know?
Yeah.
So it's horrible. It's really horrible.
And it's not really fair in that Gi-hun had an unfair advantage because he was allied with the founder of the games.
Yeah.
So it's like if you met Johnny Capitalism, and he was just like, every day he was like, hey Danny, here's £1 million.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean?
It's like if I was roommates with like John Adams or someone like that, you know, like if that's the guy. I think that's the guy who came up with capitalism.
Okay.
Is it John Adams?
No idea.
I'm gonna search it.
Oh, okay.
Who made up capitalism? Who made up capital?
This will be good.
I
swear to God, if it's someone called Johnny Capitalism, I'm going to be pissed off.
Who is it? Why aren't you saying his name? Adam Smith. Fuck! I was close.
You were.
Who's John Adams then? Is he an American president?
John Adams is a founding father, I think.
Who's John Adams?
John Adams.
Oh, he was the second
US president.
Yeah.
So who was that bloke you were saying? Adam Scott.
Adam Smith.
Adam Scott, the Parks and Rec actor. Scottish economist, philosopher, pioneer of political economy, and a key figure during the Scottish Enlightenment.
A Scottish man made capitalism? Fuck me.
I don't know if he made capitalism. He might have just come up with the concept of capitalism.
We imposed this. It started with us. Oh God. I went to Adam Smith College.
Wait, Dougie's a part of it.
Wait, is he still kicking about?
No, he was born in the 1700s.
Joking. But yeah, he died too. Thanks, Dougie. Jesus.
Go on, if we've got a closing statement for Squid Game.
It's good, it's horrible, makes for good social commentary, and I can't wait to see what they do next with the characters.
Precisely, yeah. I'll be very interested to see how and if Gi-hun manages to tear down capitalism.
Yes.
Because that's essentially what he has to do in Season 2. He has to tear down Squid Game, which is tearing down capitalism.
Very much so.
What comes next? I want to know, and I'll be interested to find out.
Here's hoping. Now, we've just spoke about capitalism and how awful it is. Would you like to hear us shill for capitalism for 5 straight minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes. We all have Linktrees. Lewis's Linktree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram. And the podcast is /Shouting Into the Void. There you will find our socials, our Instagram, our YouTube, our Facebook. Go give us a like. Go give us a subscribe, a follow. And, check out some awesome content. We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie, who is in the chat right now, listening away.
He is in the chat right now, listening away. He's giving us running commentary on the show. But yes, thank you very much, one and all, for allowing us to make this show, because we do love making it, and you are the ones that allow us to make it. So, thanks. Thanks for that. It really does mean the world.
It really does. We have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We sell tote bags, jumpers, stickers, mugs, socks, all sorts of stuff. Get yourself something nice, because Christmas is a-coming.
It is. It's October. So you need to start thinking about Christmas.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which they crochet, and they do all sorts of things in that world. And if you would like to know all sorts of things in that world, then you can go and check them out at Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram. You can see what's going on over there, and give them a cheeky follow, and bless your Instagram feed with some very pretty content. So, thanks.
Bless it. But yeah, that was Squid Game.
It was Squid Game.
Yes, and
it's like a normal game, but it's got a squid in it.
And I would like to play my favourite game, Lewis. Spin the wheel to find out what shit we're talking about next week. Woo! Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Venoms.
Venoms.
Yes.
There's been a Venom 1, you might know.
Yeah.
There's also been a Venom 2, which is now out in the cinema. So we're going to do Venoms. Venom 1, Venom 2, Venoms.
Yeah, and they better be good, because I'll be pissed off if they're not. But other than that...
they're sort of renowned to be odd, but I've never seen either of them, so I can't possibly comment.
So...
I will. Yes. Thank you very much for watching, everybody at home. Please tune in for Venoms. Thank you and goodbye.